Why Bud Light will not care if you buy their beer or not. Let's go on air. Hey everybody, this is Tom's Talk Show, and I just, before we get into our subject today, I got something in the mail a little bit ago, and it's in this box. This box has American Legion flags on it, and I did get a brand new flag from the American Legion. Comes with a sticker and some paperwork, but it's a very nice polyester flag here that I'm going to be replacing my one that's outside on my flagpole, because that one's getting a little bit tattered. I do have some other flags, of course, that have been flown over the United States Capitol, and I keep those for very special days. I may fly one of those on 4th of July and then switch it up with this one after. I think that was only $20 or $25. That was not very expensive, very affordable, and supports the American Legion as well. And it's a nice daily use flag for me to use. Okay, so let's go into this. We all know, and I've seen everybody post these things that say, oh, look, Bud Light stock is going down, it's dying, it's crashing. It's all going away. But I don't really like doing the 1 day or the 5 day or even the 5 month of the year. Let's always go to the max. I mean, if you're going to invest in something, you always invest in long term, right? So if I go to the 5 year, it is down from the 5 year, right, by quite a bit. Here at the very max up here, it was 104.52, and now it's 55. So it's almost half what it was 5 years ago, but the majority of that drop was here at kind of around the COVID time, right, during that. So we're down to like $40 or so and it's still up from that. So if everybody bought down on the bottom, then you see all this trading here. People are buying and selling. There's a lot of action here going on with the buying and selling. If you're buying, if you're buying way down there, then that's fine. And if you get up here, you can see down here towards the end of this, there's a couple little spikes here for people probably selling off, right? So they think they've rode the train long enough that they're going to sell off and try and drive it back down again. So this is a long game, right? This is not, oh, they did something bad and the company's going to go away, right? This is a long game. So if all these people that know about, investments, they're going to say, okay, this COVID thing is starting. Our stock is pretty high. Stock market's probably going to die. So we're just going to sell it all off. The price is going to drop. It's going to go down, but we're just going to sell it all off. We're going to move everything into cash, or into bonds or gold or something like that. And then as time goes by, there's a few little spikes in here and people have jumped back in to invest. Okay. So we see a couple of dips and maybe they'll buy again. So now these people, investors, are waiting now that this controversy has come out, right? They're going to wait until it gets down. Maybe even, I don't know if it's going to get back down to the COVID time, bottom out, but it'll get back down and then people will buy again. They'll feel that the controversy has gone by enough that they'll decide, all right, we're going to buy again. And then, bet, basically whether the stock is going to come back and come back up. Budweiser has a lot of brands. They have a lot of beers and a lot of different products. So, that'll be on, who knows what's going to happen with that, right? So that's what's going on with the stock market. Not, oh my gosh, this happened, so everybody's selling it out. People have sold out way back in COVID, and some people have gotten back in. But, it's playing the long game, right? Same thing with Target. Target during COVID went gangbusters because it was one of the only stores open, right? You only had a few big stores open. You had Walmart, Target, probably down here, of course, Publix, and things like that. But Target here, towards the end of, the COVID lockdown things, Target here took a pretty big hit, way back in May of 22. So that was a year ago. So, I mean, people can sit there and say, well, they're losing all kinds of money and everything else. I'm like, no, wait a minute. If you bought in 5 years ago when it was 4 years ago when it was $61, if you bought in back then, you're still up quite a bit. You've almost doubled your money because it was 67 then, and now it's still 132. So you've more than doubled, your money. So it's a long game. It's not a short game. So these things are going to keep, so all these things that they do really don't matter that much, right? So I've did go online, and you can chat online with Target, and I said, they asked, how can I help you? And I asked them, so is it true you were selling these products from this person who likes bad people, or a bad guy, the baddest guy? And they just said, well, give us your zip code and we'll let those store managers know. I'm like, okay. So I let the store managers know, said, here's the zip codes. This is the one we go to. This is the other one we go to. And, I mean, in those stores, there's nothing. There were no displays. There was nothing out. It's all been removed and all gone here. But this is Florida. So, one of the stores is, kind of Tampa-ish, which Tampa's very liberal. So I was a little surprised at that, but no, everything was gone. So I don't know. Most of these stores where these things are going on must be like California or something, but not here. So the biggest thing, I think, why they're not going to change and why they can't change is right here. Their ESG score, right? That's what they need to keep up, right? And their DEI score. They need those things. Their diversity, mandatory diversity statements. They need to have equity versus equality. They need to have all of these things in place, and they need to have their environment score thing all done and in place. So they need to buy into the climate crisis. They need to buy into environmental sustainability. They need to buy into all the diversity, all the human rights, all these animal welfare, and all these other things. They got to buy into all of those. Even like BlackRock now their president is saying, he's kind of ashamed that their ESG gotten into the political thing. Well, what do you think it's going to do? If you force companies to do the ethnic hire people because of their skin, their race, or different preferences, then people are going to say, hey, I was better fit for that job. Why did they get the job? And I would even think that if you got the job because of one of your attributes, not because of your skills, I would feel completely horrible about that. I would be like, wow, you didn't hire me because I can actually do the job. You just hired me because, I've got 4 fingers on this hand, something, crazy like that. Right. It's dumb. Right. If I had a company, I would want all the best people. It would be colorblind, gender blind, everything blind. Right. Are you the best person to do that job? That's going to make that company move forward. I don't care. I wish don't even put that. I wouldn't even have that as a selection. Like, have a form where they fill out their application, and don't even put that on there. Right? Don't even put any of that stuff on there. Don't put your age. Don't put your gender. Don't put anything on there. None of that. And these are your qualifications. And then I would even go as far as to maybe do so email questions back and forth. So here's this. What do you think about this? Here's this. What do you think about this? So that you're not getting anything about, who they are. Like what trait, are you trying to fulfill? So, but he's upset that it's become political because he's trying to push this thing, and it's helping to, it's all part of the, your social credit score. If you don't go in if your social credit score isn't good enough in China, right? You can't travel, you can't leave your house, you can't go do things and stuff. Things like that. And that's what that's mostly about, right? So he is really upset that we found out. That's the real problem. We found out what they're doing, and now it's we're aware of it and we're reacting to it. So I looked up one of the things I did. I looked up Anheuser-Busch, right? They have a bunch of investors, and I'm like, well, who's the biggest investor in Anheuser-Busch? So that's this Dodge and Cox Incorporated. So I go, well, let's look up Dodge and Cox Incorporated. So it's this Dodge and Cox. They got a philosophy and a process, and they're all happy-go-lucky. Our single value-oriented investment philosophy, la la la, we're all this stuff. And then you come down here towards the bottom. We consider financial, material, and social and governance factors as part of our detailed fundamental research process. So they are completely invested in ESG. So is Anheuser-Busch going to back off from this whole thing? Are they going to change their mind? Are they going to do anything different? Of course not. The CEO addressed that whole thing. And down here at the bottom, when he was asked if that Dylan thing was a mistake, he said, nope. We've been supporting LGBTQ for 25 years. So, no. It's not a mistake to them. Because it's part of their ESG. They stop the ESG, then Dodge and Cox is going to drop them. And they're not going to get investors, and they're not going to get money. So it's plain and simple how this whole thing is kind of working. And it's I get a little irritated when the other YouTubers come on and say, oh, look, it's dropped 3 cents again today. If you go to 5 day, see, it's just diving off a cliff. No, not really. I mean, it's just a little bit lower than it was at the low point in 2018. Not the lowest it's been. I mean, we had the big COVID dip, but it's even in October of 22, it was lower, right? So it's this in for the long game, buy low, sell high. So we don't know that maybe the people in the company, right, they can do this. They can know that the stock is getting to a certain value, and they want to see right here. There's this one little dot right here. Before that, there's, it's like 24 million shares were sold, were changed hands right here at this one point. 24 million. So somebody decided, they're going to put out this ad. Let's drop all of our stock while it's high. And then once it gets back down again, and right here where it's leveling out, and this spot over here, there's been some buyback. Right? There's some people buying back. So people have made money off of this thing. Right? That's what they're doing. It's the just very simple buy low, sell high. And it's going to continue on and on and on. So I think it's a little disingenuous for some of these people to go off of, this, oh, look at this, this 5 day thing. Like, oh, look at it die. No, it's not. Now the actual sales, right, numbers out. Now that's where you get the actual problems, right? Is that sales are low, right? That eventually will kind of gather up into the company. But Bud Light is not the only product they have, and they can diversify, and they can sell off. They can, if it gets bad enough, they can sell off some of their entities, that they have. There's a lot of groups. They own a lot of products. They can always sell some of those off, lay off some people. That increases how much money you have to do things, because now you're not paying those employees. You don't have that liability of that company and stuff. And you can move all money around all of them. They could actually take Bud Light itself. They could spin that off into its own company, let it die, and keep the rest of it. I mean, there's all different ways that these companies manipulate this stuff. So So I think Bud's going to be okay, right? Some people are just going to make a lot of money. But the real problem, right, is DEI and ESG, and that we know about it, right? BlackRock doesn't want you to know about it. So all these companies are fully in on that, and they're not going to stop. So I mean, I don't know who knows where to shop. You can't shop at Walmart. You can't shop at, can't shop at Publix. It's everywhere. So unless you get a hold of your state legislature, your representatives, and start telling them we need to put laws in place to protect, public from, the ESG DEI stuff, right? Outlaw. You can have a state that outlaws equity, right? And there are discrimination laws everywhere. You can't be discriminated against because of your race, sex, or color, or anything, right? That's law in most states. That you can't do that, right? Well, equity is doing that, so basically that's illegal. So that should be challenged in court. Because if you're hired, let's just look at the worst diversity hire that we have, which is that Karine Jean-Pierre person, the White House press secretary. You'd probably ask her if the sky's blue, and she can't answer it because she's got to go check with somebody to whether it fits the narrative that they want, right? I mean, she wasn't hired because she has a brain or can think on her feet or anything. She was hired because of who she is and what she represents. Nothing else. And that's what you get, right? If you want to do that and follow that, then you're just going to get garbage employees and you're going to have a garbage company. So we don't really need to worry about Budweiser. It's still going to be there, maybe not as it sits today, but it's going to still be around. People are going to make some money off of them and off of this whole kind of fiasco. The real tragedy are the people that are losing their jobs, right? I mean, if no one's buying the product, then they have to cut back somewhere, and that's going to be the distributors. And hopefully they can move to another product and start selling, and distributing something else quickly, right? That would be the best option. Once the actual Bud part collapses, right? I mean, the Bud Light part. I mean, they have, like I said, they have other divisions. They can sell things off. They can do, move money around. It's big corporate, numbers kind of thing. So, all right, what do you think? Am I correct? Do you think I'm on par with this? I mean, so many people have different views. I haven't seen anybody with my view that I'm seeing with all this, but yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll keep making videos. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Take care.